Hey friend, welcome to my studio. I'm Lana and today we're going to do a little drunk decluttering of my studio. But I am on my third glass of wine and I'm okay with that. So guys, if you like this video, I would love if you would subscribe. I would especially love if you would tell your friends about me and send them on over here. And I would really love if you would like this video and give it a thumbs up. So I'm just going to warn you in advance. You're going to see me in 2 different outfits in this video. And that's because the first time I videotaped this, I was completely out of focus the whole entire time. Sorry. I have this space that you can see behind me. You'll see in the video that this did used to have a wire rack in here. Now, a long time ago, I was a scrapbooker, and so I made these wire racks out of the wire crates, and they held scrapbook paper and things like that for me. So I decided that I really needed to get rid of that and make a rack to go underneath of there. We'll be talking about making a rack later down the road, but right now we're gonna start on decluttering this space. I have a lot of paper, and so I decided that I really needed to pare some of that down, be more honest with what I was going to do with some of this. I have quite a few pads, some blocks. Here's a great big one that I've never even opened, and I have not 1 but 2 of those. I really don't need to buy paper for a really long time. I have been using this for years. This is Arch's artboard. It's paper and it's applied to a paper substrate. This is basically what I've used almost my entire career, and I stopped making it and I had an existential meltdown. Yeah, it was that bad. I went out on a fact-finding mission to try to find some paper. I use Arch's artboard because I don't like to stretch paper. I've never liked to stretch paper. I'm not very good at it. It still buckles on me when I paint. I'm just not happy with it. So I've always used this. You can't really find that. Crescent makes some. Love you, Crescent. Don't buy it. I'm gonna need some better paper than what I had. I can't get this anymore. I only have like 4 sheets left. I intend to live a really long time. I really want to have more paper. My problem wasn't finding paper. It was finding large sheets of super heavy drunk cluttery. But in the meantime of doing that, I have acquired some paper and trying to find exactly what I wanted. I don't need everything. We have this attitude of we might need this thing someday. But I have found that I am at my most creative when I have the least amount of supplies. I've learned that having too much, you can get lost in the decision-making process. I don't need all of this. I'm going to give some to the school. Hang on. I'm getting old as hell. So, I have all of these moleskins. I don't use these. I love the idea of it. And this is a really nice moleskin, except for where I got paint on it. And get rid of that. And I have to be honest with myself. When I look at this, I love the idea of this. But then I have to tell myself, am I going to use this in the next 6 months? The answer's probably no. Even though this is really nice, I'm probably not going to do that. Now this is a really nice journal. It has full of canvases. To this very day, when I look at it, it makes me happy. It may not happen in the next 6 months, but it does make me happy every time I look at it. So I'm going to keep that. We're going to put that on the keep pile. Here is a field book. I have been using this for colored pencils. So I'm going to keep that. Some vellum for colored pencil, paper for colored pencil. This is awful watercolor paper. Please do not buy this if you want to watercolor on it. Having said that, I've been using it for colored pencil and I kind of like it. And then I have some loose paper, old paper, like I've had this since I was in high school. Look, there's high school art on it. Ooh, that's hideous. Clearly it doesn't mean a lot to me, so I'm gonna get rid of it. And I have some small pieces. I'll use these sometimes, like I'll do tests if I want to do small painting, which isn't very often. So I'm going to keep those. I'm going to put those in a clear file folder so that they are better, they're safer. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to give that to the school. Here's 2 more pads that I have. I'm definitely going to keep this. I haven't even used this yet. I'm really excited about doing something on this. I bought a sample pack, Kilimanjaro sample pack from Cheap Joe's. I have some Fabriano paper that this was gifted to me. It's good, but it's loose paper, and you know how I feel about loose paper. And so I save this for my students to use. Don't buy this. I hated it so much. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to donate this to the school. It's been gessoed. Some kid would love to have a really neat surface to paint on. I started to do a painting on aquaboard. It was an important painting. You know, I didn't hate it, but I wasn't used to that. I think I'm going to keep it because I still want to try it and do something kind of abstract. But I'm going to give myself a limit. I'm going to write the date of today, and if I haven't used it within a year from today, I'll donate it to the school. I think a year for an artist is more than enough. Here's Yupo paper. I know you artists out there are going to be like, oh my god, it's Yupo paper. I hate Yupo paper. There's nothing wrong with Yupo paper. Hey, you guys are awesome. Not something I like to paint on, so I'm going to donate this. Here's a cool box. Don't know. It looks like something that somebody in school would probably really appreciate, something like that, so I'm going to donate that. Here is a watercolor palette. Little crunchies on it. It is a plastic one. I didn't really like it. Probably clean this out. I'm going to give that to the school. Some kid will be like so excited about this. I'll even leave some of this paint in here and clean out my wells. One of the things that I discovered was I had some artwork that was old artwork. This is from my first classes that I ever took as a watercolorist. And I decided that there's some stuff that I'm not really very proud of. You know, in 50 years, if somebody was selling my old artwork, I might be embarrassed and looked at it and then sold it. What if I became famous and like they sold this for like money? I would be really embarrassed by that. So I have decided to destroy some old artwork. I'm taking a page from Georgia O'Keeffe. My husband and I went to her studio in Abiquiu, New Mexico this past summer, and I was really inspired by the strangest thing. There are many canvases in her studio that have holes in them. It's just the frame. She was unhappy with the paintings, so she would go in and cut them out of the frame and burn them. And I thought that's a really great way to have control of the work that you allow to be in the world. I don't want to pass away and then somebody think that this is worth something because it's not. Could it be worth something someday? Yes, but I would be embarrassed for this to be worth something someday. I have a few pieces that's going to be hard for me because I spent a lot of time on them. When I am gone and I leave my work to my children, I don't want them to have to sit there and say, was this a good piece? Would this be something Mom would be proud of? I just want to take care of that now. Drunk decluttering, you just don't even care anymore. So I want to talk a little bit about the psychology of decluttering and how it can help you, not just as an artist, but as a person. One of the things that I have learned is that when you have a lot of clutter in your life, you probably have a lot of other things going on in your life also. You may be overweight, you may have financial issues, you may have some mental issues that you're dealing with, and that could be actual mental disorders, or it could just be unresolved issues that you've had for many years. And I find that when you have one of these, often you'll have multiples of them, and sometimes you'll have all of them, and I have experienced that myself. If you can fix one of those problems, that often those problems will fix themselves. Decluttering can actually reduce your stress levels. So don't you want to come into your studio and you want to feel calm and peace? I'm going to read something to you. You will find that your concentration improves if you cultivate a less demanding living space, and you will also find that you are better able to focus on the things that are truly important to you. And if art is important to you, and having a decluttered space will help you focus more on your artwork as opposed to running around trying to find that little gadget or that tube of paint that you need. Decluttering your space can actually help improve your health. If you have a room, a studio, and it's full of things, over time that studio space is going to be full of dirt and dust, but you're breathing those particles and you can have asthma, you can have allergies, you can have lots of other things that can cause you problems. And when you have more things in your space you cannot take care of, then you're going to have some other problems. So either you are going to declutter these items so that you don't have to dust them and take care of them, or you're going to find appropriate storage spaces so that you can wipe down a box instead of wiping down 300 things that you have inside of the box. Once I'm done with the painting, I will completely clean my space. So that means I am going to clean up everything, even putting the paintbrushes away, even though I know I'm going to use them in the next painting that's going to start the next day. Feelings of exhaustion and thoughts of not knowing where to start. Don't you want to just walk through the door and not feel exhausted the minute you walk into your studio because you don't know where to start because you can't find your things? You can't organize clutter. You have to declutter first and then organize what's left. You know, one thing that I really learned when I did that was all the things that are left are things that I truly, honestly love and sparks joy. I get excited about, I want to work with them, and I can't do that when I'm distracted by this little thing to the side is blocking the view of the beautiful thing below it. You're keeping that item away from somebody who can use it and who can enjoy it. So you are actually being unkind to somebody else by keeping it in your studio, knowing full well you're never going to use it. That tube of paint is going to dry up. And that kid in school who could really use that tube of paint right now, they're being denied of that because the school can't afford it or he can't afford it. In 25 years, when you're dead, your children are going to throw it away. So here's what I suggest you do. Just like I did today, I want you to go through one section at a time, one box at a time, one shelf at a time. Do I need this? Have I ever used this? Am I ever gonna use it? Could somebody else use this and enjoy this? If you have something that is making you feel guilty because you never got around to doing this thing, then you should pass that on with love and joy in your heart. You never know, that might change somebody's life completely. So I think that we should spend some time passing on joy to other people, and it's going to cost you $0. So guys, I want you to leave me a comment below, and I want you to tell me what you got rid of and what joy you gave to somebody else. Thanks guys for stopping by. So that I could show you again, so we could do this twice. You'll see in the video I literally saved some things from the trash pile.